They thought they were safe. They trusted her, called her friend, even confided in her. What they didn't know was that their final stop would be her kitchen, where blood mixed with flour and human remains were molded into soap. In the quiet Italian town of Correggio, no one suspected the kindly old woman who ran a small shop near the edge of town. She was polite, friendly, known to offer tea and advice to anyone who stopped by. But behind her warm eyes and matronly smile was something ancient, something cold, something calculated. Leonarda wasn't just a serial killer, she was a mother on a mission. And her mission? To sacrifice innocent lives in exchange for the safety of her son. What follows is the horrifying true story of a woman who believed murder was a small price to pay for protection. And how three women, Faustina, Francesca, and Virginia, were lured to their gruesome end, all in the name of love. Leonarda wasn't born a monster, at least not in the eyes of the world. Born in 1893, her early life was shadowed by superstition and suffering. She claimed her mother cursed her before she was even born. Cursed her womb, cursed her future, cursed the life she tried to build. And maybe she was right, because tragedy followed her like a shadow. She married the man she loved against her family's wishes. Punishment, a life of pain. 17 pregnancies, but only 4 of her children survived. 17 pregnancies, 4 survivals. The rest, miscarriages, infant deaths, illnesses that seemed to defy logic. Leonarda became obsessed with protecting her remaining children, especially her favorite, her eldest son, Giuseppe. He was her heart, her reason. So when he was drafted into the Italian army during World War II, something inside her snapped. She went to a fortune teller, and the woman told her, "You will lose all of your children, but one will be saved. That salvation will come through blood." Leonarda believed it, and from that moment on, she decided she would control fate. She would rewrite the prophecy with blood. Faustina was 73, lonely, vulnerable, exactly the kind of woman Leonarda was looking for. Leonarda told her she had the perfect match for her, a husband in a distant town. All Faustina had to do was write letters to her friends and family ahead of time, saying she was leaving and not to worry. Leonarda would even mail them for her. Faustina came to say goodbye. She never left. Leonarda served her wine, drugged. Then she picked up an axe. What happened next was clinical. Leonarda later described it coldly. I threw the pieces into a pot, added 7 kilos of caustic soda, stirred until everything dissolved. The thick black mixture was poured into the septic tank. But that wasn't the end. She used Faustina's blood to bake tea cakes. She fed them to the neighbors, even to her own son. One death wasn't enough. Leonarda believed more lives were needed to keep her son safe. Next came Francesca, 55 years old, educated, and former teacher. She was promised a job at a girls' school in Piacenza. Again, Leonarda encouraged her to write letters saying she was moving for work. Again, she drugged her. Again, she used an axe. Her process was the same, calculated, chilling. She didn't just dispose of Francesca's body. She turned it into something useful. Soap. Tea cakes. Nothing wasted, nothing sacred. Virginia was a former soprano, elegant, well known in her younger years. Leonarda promised her a job too, this time with a theater company in Florence. Virginia came to say goodbye. She also never left. But this time, something changed. Leonarda seemed almost pleased by the quality of Virginia's body. She said her flesh was fat and white. When it had melted, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I made some most acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbors and acquaintances. She used Virginia's blood to bake pastries. She served them with tea, and no one suspected a thing. Until someone did. Virginia's sister grew suspicious. She reported her concerns to the police. And finally, the horror unraveled. Leonarda confessed it all, calmly, proudly, as if what she'd done was necessary, even noble. Leonarda's trial was a spectacle. She was calm, collected, sometimes amused. She told the court how she perfected the soap recipe. When asked about remorse, she said, "I would do it again if it meant saving my children." She was sentenced to 30 years in prison and 3 years in a mental hospital. She died in 1970. 3 women walked into a home seeking hope and help. They found none. Instead, they found terror and a mother whose love had become her madness. The soap maker of Correggio. Because sometimes the scariest monsters don't hide behind masks. They wear aprons. This is distHERbia, because the scariest stories, they're always about her.